Hello and welcome to Grow With Me Garden. Today I'll be showing you how to plant beets. And I have a raised bed here that my husband just recently built for me. And we're just getting started to fill it with leafy greens. They're probably gonna go on that side, and I picked this special place for my beets because beets is a very important part of our diet here. We just love eating beets for the tops and for the roots themselves. Now I picked this part of the garden because it gets a good 6 hours plus of sun, and beets require 6+ hours of full sun. It is a cool season vegetable, so it's good for the temperatures being around 60 and 70 degrees. And being that we're here in South Florida and it's the beginning of February, we're in the low 70s, high 60s sometimes, but it does reach the mid 70s at times. It depends on the day. So I have chosen the Detroit Red, and the reason why I chose this variety is because it's very sweet and it's got a really dark red color to it, and it's just magnificent. I love eating this variety. Now this particular variety will take about 60 days until harvest. So in April I'll be getting my first harvest, and I'm very excited. Now the soil, for you to prepare your soil, you need to have a very nutritious soil. It needs to be packed with phosphorus and nitrogen. So I have tested my soil and I have adequate soil conditions for my beets. The pH that the beets love is around 6 to 7, 7.5. So I have tested the pH on the soil, and it's about 7 or 6.8. So it's perfect for my beets. It's gonna be perfect for my leafy greens. So I'm very excited to watch it grow. As the plant grows, the plant will talk to you. It will tell you if it's missing something, if it's missing any vitamins from the soil. So then you can adjust and fertilize accordingly to what the plant is saying to you. Now, if you don't care for the root, you can also grow beets just for the leafy greens on top. And in fact, if you plant them about an inch or two apart, they'll be just fine for you to just eat the tops, and you can grow beets just for the leafy greens. So you can plant them closer together if you want to just eat and harvest the top of the beets itself. But if you also love eating the root, you just space them further apart, like about 3 to 4 inches. That way they have ample of space to grow. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it ready, and my next scene will be showing you how I plant everything, and my head will probably be cut off. I'll just be concentrated on the soil itself so you can see what I'm doing. Okay guys, so I had to do a voiceover here because my neighbors are building a pool, and the noise got really loud and I couldn't really hear myself speak. So as you can see, I'm on top of the board here, and the only reason I'm on top of that board is because we, when we build this planter and bed, we wanted to make sure we're using all the space that we had so we could build a large lantern. And I'm gonna go walk you through it. I have my beets here, as you can see, and they're in water, and they're in water because I soaked them overnight. Actually, I think I soaked them for about 24 hours, and there was almost, some of them were already starting to germinate. Anyways, with soaking your beets, it helps them with germination. Here I have a little pole, and what I'm gonna do is start 3 inches from the wall there so they have enough room to grow. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a line on the soil evenly all the way across, a straight line, as straight as I can, about 1 inch deep, and I'm just raking it across the soil so I can create a little burrow there that I can place the seeds. And then I made another one. I went 4 inches over, and I'm basically copying what I did on the first one. So another straight line there, about 1 inch deep, and that looks looking pretty good right there. Now what I'm gonna do is just take the seeds, and they're a little bit wet, but I'm gonna go ahead and place them about 3 inches apart. And those are little pods, and the beets come in like beet pods, and they sometimes germinate 2 or 3 seeds at a time. So when it comes time for thinning them, I'll have to do minimal thinning by planting them this way. I'm not planting them so close together. So if I have to thin them out, then I can do so when they are about 2 inches long. So I'm going to place them here about 3 inches apart so they have enough room to grow. And if you don't care for the root themselves, what you can do is plant them closer together, like about 1 to 2 inches apart, and you get to benefit from just the leafy greens that the beet plant has to offer. So I like to eat the greens and the root, so I plant them further apart. As you can see, they're a little bit tough to get out of my finger because they're wet, so they were sticking to my finger. But got them 3 to 4 inches apart. You don't have to measure every single one of them. I'm doing the best I can here. So I just don't like thinning. I don't like wasting seeds. Alright guys, looks like the job is done, and I did a pretty good job there. Now what I'm going to do is just cover them over, and you can just cover them over just by lightly putting the sand over where I made the line, and just cover them lightly. As you can see my movements, I'm just spreading the soil over the seeds, and then I'm gonna lightly pad the soil, cover them nicely so they don't go anywhere. Now when you prepare the soil, make sure that there are no rocks and anything that could get in the way of the beets growing themselves. So there, I'm patting it, and it looks good. And I think here I'm gonna put my little sign there so I don't forget where I planted my beets. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about the germination, which the soil takes the beets. The soil needs to be about 50 degrees, and I didn't really have to worry about that with South Florida soil. As I had measured my soil before, it was about 60 degrees, and I basically had a little dollar store thermometer that I can put into the soil and measure the temperature. And I think I'm going to go ahead and show my little thermometer in a little bit. But I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the voiceover, and hopefully you guys will understand what I've done, and we'll pick up from there. So we have gone ahead and sowed the beets. Now I'm going to go ahead and water and put the boards over it so I retain the moisture. And like I said before, I will not have to worry about them drying so much, especially here in South Florida where things can get a bit hot. We are in the beginning of February. It's perfect weather for me to be planting these beets. It's actually getting a little late, but I'm excited to have a April harvest. So let me go ahead and water these, and don't forget to hit the like button, and please subscribe if you want to follow me growing this beautiful garden. This is one of the first vegetables that I have planted in this bed. I just built this new bed, and I'm very excited to see how it turns out. Thank you. Grow with me. Okay, I think that will do. See you next time.